Okay, so this video is about lecture 10, and this lecture will actually be about for loops. And a for loop is a way to do something, say, however many times you would like. So what we'll be doing is changing the transparency of this little lemon block, and we'll be changing it to invisible over the course of a few seconds. Maybe 1 second, maybe 10. I think 1 second actually. So if we go ahead and just write the loop, and you'll understand it, and I'll explain it after I write it. So for I equals 1 comma 10, do print I. And if I go ahead and click run, you're going to see in my output I have a bunch of numbers. Crap. Shit. Okay, so basically the for loop, so this is how you write it, just for I equals number, comma, number, do, and then end. And whatever is inside of here will happen, say, in this situation it happens 10 times. So it goes through this loop 10 times. So if you take a look, the loop starts at 1 and increases itself all the way up to 10. So the first time around in this loop, it starts at 1. So you can see it prints 1, and then it goes on to the next number, which is 2, and then 3, 4, 5, all the way up until it gets to 10. So it's this loop goes from 1 to 10, and we could go up to, say, 20 if we would like. Could go up to 50. Does not really matter, except this number has to be bigger than this number. I mean, that's all there is to it. Now, say what happens if I do an 8.5? I'm not really sure, because I've never actually done this. So it looks like you get an error. Yeah, I've never done that. It's kind of interesting. I really wanted to see what would happen. But yeah, so that's how it works. And as you go through the loop, I is equal to whichever number it's currently at. So if I did 5 to 10, obviously, maybe not so obvious, but that is 5 intervals. So it's going to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or that's 6, actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 intervals. So it goes through 6 times, which may be a bit confusing to you. It's kind of confusing for me too. But it goes from 5 to 10, which is 6 intervals, if you actually take a look. But yeah, so I is just equal to whatever interval it's at. And it's pretty simple. Now let's say I want to go from 2 to 10, but I want to go from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to 10. Well, this is where the third number comes in, which, unless you write it, it only goes up by 1. But if you write comma 2, it's going to go up by 2. So this is the number it goes up by. So it's going to go from 2, and instead of going to 3, it's going to increase by 2 and go up all the way to 4. So it's going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which is 5 intervals. But I will be equal to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if I click run and print I can see what happens. And if I was to go up by 3, say, let's see what happens. And it ends at 8, because the next I number will be 11, and since 10 is the max number we can get to, it doesn't print 10 or 11, because it can't get past 10, and 10 is not 3 more than 8. So this is the number it increases by. Now let's say earlier I was trying to get to 8.5 from 1. This does not really compute, because it's trying to go up by 1, and it doesn't really know what the hell it's doing. So if I go up by 0.5 instead, it will be able to do that. So if you're going into a decimal, you have to use a decimal to go up by. You can't go up by a whole number and end at a non-whole number. So if we go like that, it'll do this because it increases by 0.5. So yeah. So that's how you can actually go up to a decimal. Now let's say you wanted to decrease your I. So you want to go from 10 to 1, but it gives you an error because it doesn't know what the hell's going on. Well, you can actually, say you don't have your third number. It thinks it's going up by 1, and it doesn't compute because it doesn't know it's going down. Roblox isn't smart enough to script it to where it puts a negative if the thing is top. Anyways, so the way that we can go from 10 to 1 instead of 1 to 10 and go backwards, we can just throw in a -1, and now it will go down. So anytime you're going from a higher number to a lower number, you gotta make sure this is negative. So 10 all the way to 1. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's 10 intervals. I was just counting because I was kind of curious, actually. I wasn't really sure. I mean, you can also do, 2 or -2. You can also do the 8.5. Now it's really up to you. Open up Roblox Studio. What the fuck? Open up Roblox Studio and try it out for yourself. Anyways, let's get on to actually making the lemon, more transparent. So if we go ahead and get the part, so part equals screen.workspace.lemon. So if we go ahead and do part.transparency is equal to, I'm going to go from 1 to 10, 1, 10. And I'm going to set the transparency to I divided by 10. So basically, the first time around, I is equal to 1, right? And if I divide 1 by 10, that's 0.1. And if I go all the way up to 10, 10 divided by 10 is 1. So it's slowly going to become 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and whatnot. And also, instead of doing divided by 10, I can also do like times 0.1. I think that's it. Because if you're good at math, well, you understand. But if you're not, then we'll just go with the division by 10. So, but this will happen instantaneously. This will happen within the matter of a millisecond. So we have to put our weight 0.1 in. So yeah, go weight 0.1, and it slowly goes invisible. Now what if we want to go crazy and want to make it go even slower? We can just add an extra 0, right? Now it goes crazy slow. See this? I'm gonna make this wait time even slower, so I guess this is the same speed, but it's just super better, more smooth, I suppose. So you can change it like that, or what you can actually do is you can ignore I. You don't even need to use this. Here's something I always do. I generally use I half the time, and half the time I just do this trick. Copy this, paste it, and I'll just plus 0.1. So this right here happens 10 times, and if it happens 10 times, I'll just increase it by 0.1, so eventually it gets to 1. I mean, 0.1 times 10 is 1. So it'll go through here. The first time, part.transparency is equal to 0. So 0 plus 0.1 is 1. Second time through, this is equal to 0.1. So 0.1 plus 0.1 is 0.2. Third time around, 0.2 plus 0.1 is 0.3. So it increases by 0.1 every time. And I don't even have to use the I. So it can be less confusing for you. I mean, you can do whatever you prefer. I mean, yeah. It just depends on the situation, I suppose. So, whatever you prefer, it's up to you. So go ahead and practice. Do what you can. I challenge you to I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I challenge you to get a part out. Slowly make it transparent over 5 seconds. You can do that by changing the weight. You can do it by, adding that. Do it however you want. It's for you to figure out on your own. And then after 2 seconds of it being fully transparent, bring it back. You can use a function if you like, and use I forgot what it's called. The things inside of the function. The function thing. These thingies. See, I'm really good at scripting, and I don't even know what it's called. You can use these. Yeah. Parameters. Yeah, parameters. You can use parameters. So you can make a function that's called change transparency, changing, and I'm not sure. Just, that's your challenge. Make this go invisible over the course of 5 seconds, wait 2 seconds, and make it re-visible. So yeah.